Alright, so as I said in a couple videos back, I started on a Chongyun build, and I've been working with the team. That's the main thing I've been working on, because right now I'm going to show you in a bit exactly what I'm working with, but the team is the main thing I've been working on. I feel like this is the best team that I can do with free-to-play characters. I don't have a whole lot, but honestly, there's some other ones that aren't really as like free-to-play friendly that I could have put in here. But these ones actually probably outperform them. But we're gonna go ahead and see what Chongyun has first, and then we're gonna go over the team. My Chongyun right now has about 2,000 attack, 16,000 max HP. The only problem with this one is that the weapon, it's only at level 70. I need to get that up. The refinement rank, I need to get that up too, but I can't get the claymore, so that's I have to wait a little bit. With the artifacts, I'm pretty much just working with whatever I can, because I'm not rank 45 yet, so I kind of have to just hope that I get good stuff. But as you can see, like, this one doesn't have any crit rate or crit damage. This one has both, but when I upgraded, the stats weren't exactly great. The flower, again, it has crit damage, but almost none of the stats upgraded to crit damage, so it ended up being almost completely pointless. This one, crit damage again, don't have a lot of crit rate. This one has crit damage as the main stat, so this does help quite a lot, because even if you have something else that has like attack and then some crit rate, having one where the base stat is crit damage helps you a lot. But right now, I don't have too many crazy artifacts, because right now I'm working with the crit rate at 10% and the crit damage at 114%. But honestly, it does help a lot. It does pretty well, and I'll have some showcase about that at the end of this video. Constellations, I don't have any. I feel like with Chongyun, as long as you have decent artifacts, you really don't need any of these. Unless you can one phase just about any boss without any of these, so therefore I don't really care too much about these. They do help a little bit. They do make it an easier build to make. You don't have to focus so much on crit damage and crit rate and stuff like that if you do have a lot of these, but I don't really care. I would rather just work on artifacts than pay actual money to try and get some of these constellations. His talents, I worked on the normal attack and the spirit blade. I should have done the layered frost first, honestly, but I didn't. I worked on the normal attack, but I wanted to get up the cloud parting star for sure. I could get these up, but I need to get some of these. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get these, because again, I'm ranked 45, so my rewards aren't exactly the best from the Valen or any of the bosses at the moment. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the individual team members. Of course, Bennett, I mean, it's Bennett. Like, I think Bennett is in literally every single build you can possibly think of. I haven't even upgraded any of these, because I feel like you really don't need to. And this one I haven't bothered either, because his energy recharge rate is crazy good already, so I feel like I don't need it, because I almost always have his fantastic voyage for the healing anyways, so I haven't spent a whole lot of materials because I'm limited at being a free-to-play player. But yeah, right now his talents are at nothing. His constellations don't have any. Actually, with Bennett, with most people, it's better off if you don't have any constellations, or if you just get the first one, that's fine. But once you start getting up here, if you get all constellations, a lot of his abilities end up kind of counteracting a lot of characters, like especially Razor. Razor is one where it really counteracts it if you actually get all of the constellations. His artifacts, I pretty much just put on whatever gave him a lot of HP, because if you don't know, his ability that heals you goes off of how much HP he has. 70% of his max HP goes into healing. But right now I'm working with 2-piece exile for the energy recharge plus 20%, and also increases elemental mastery by 80. That one I kind of just put on because they had a lot of health, but none of these artifacts are really like anything crazy. Like, as you can see, I have one of them that works for the hydro, just because it helps with HP. His weapon, I'm using the Skyrider sword, which is using the elemental burst grants a 24% increase in attack and movement speed for 15 seconds, because I do sometimes use him just to do a little bit extra damage, so it helps a little bit. And his attributes, he's a level 60 with 12,000 HP, and I don't really work on his attack or anything else because I just use him for healing. Xiangling is great for Chongyun if you're trying to make a melt build, which is, I feel like that's the best one, because that's the one that's easiest to just absolutely melt everything. The one, you can run a 4-piece of the Blizzard Strayer and kind of just do a freeze and then shatter a build, but I mean, it's a lot harder to make that build OP. It takes a little bit more time, but if you know what, if you're not free to play and you have just a lot of time, or you just get extremely lucky with artifacts and stuff like that, then go for it. But I feel like this is the better one if you're playing free to play. As you can see, Xiangling is probably the one I've worked on the least, just because I only use her to apply pyro consistently. And honestly, Xiangling, when it comes to applying pyro, she's always in the conversation. And honestly, I think she's the best one for just constantly putting pyro on everything with her elemental burst. Her artifacts, I've got a decent amount of artifacts on her, but it doesn't really, these are only on there to like increase her attack a little bit. Her constellations, I've only got the first one, which opponents hit by Goba's attacks have their pyro res reduced by 15% for 6 seconds, which is great for other characters, but for Chongyun, obviously that's it's not really great. Her talents don't even are at level 70 yet. I really don't need to upgrade her at all for her to be useful for what I want her for. And honestly, the most helpful one on this team that I think is the most helpful is honestly Sucrose. And that's funny because she's the one that's only at level 41. Now again, her HP is only the only one up. I could get her up to 50 at least and then probably get her up again, but I don't feel like I need to. Her weapon is only at level 20. Her weapon is only at level 20 because again, I don't need to. Heritage, when switching characters, the new character taking the field has their attack increased by 48% for 10 seconds. That's a crazy ability on a 3-star weapon. If you have this weapon, I 100% recommend using this on Sucrose. If you have it, it's the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. To be able to, it does have to be refinement rank 5 if you want this much damage, but yeah, being able to just switch from her and then go straight to doing plus 48% attack, that's a crazy amount. And then her artifacts, I'm pretty much just running anything that gives me elemental mastery, because I feel like that's the main thing that helps her. Energy recharge rate, I would want to get some of that, but I kind of need to put all of my energy recharge stuff on Bennett because I need that healing a lot. Her constellations, I have 2 of them. A lot of these don't really help a whole lot. The first one does because you get an extra charge. So this one I don't really use to like damage or anything. This one I mainly just like the extra charge because every time you hit an enemy with it, you get the particles back. So it's easier to get her elemental burst and elemental skill back. And then this one, the duration of Forbidden Creation, which is her elemental burst, is increased by 2 seconds, which isn't a crazy amount because you kind of just want to have it to just swirl things up so that you can then switch to a different character to do the extra damage. But if you use this in Spiral Abyss, it can help a lot because it juggles the enemies quite a lot. And then her talents at level 70, I feel like this one doesn't, I mean, it's good, but I feel like this one is better if you're trying to make a DPS build with Sucrose. If it's just a support, I feel like you don't really need to upgrade a whole lot of these. I'm pretty much just using her for her weapon at this point, and just being able to just swirl things up. And it's just a super easy character that doesn't really need a whole lot of upgrade. Now I'm gonna quickly show you guys, if you do want to make a build that focuses on freezing enemies, I used to have that one, but honestly, even these two middle ones, I would always recommend Pyro Resonance, just because you get that extra damage, that extra 25% attack. But honestly, the only one I would change is I would switch out Sucrose for someone like Xingqiu, because he applies the Hydro a lot. You can use someone like Mona. I did try out Mona. I feel like her damage wasn't... It is a pretty decent amount, but I feel like it works better for other characters. And I feel like it's not enough to replace someone like Xingqiu that consistently applies to Hydro and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the build I'll be using in the showcase, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys see that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.